So, hello guys, my name is Real2911 and this is sort of an update video, also sort of a rant about the Switch. I know I haven't been on for around 2 weeks, something like it. Thing is, right now I'm at college and I kinda knew that this was going to happen. I know how much free time I'm going to have, even in weekends and stuff like that, so I might not be uploading a lot as I used to. Maybe a video here and there on the weekends when I have time, but I don't really know. So about this channel, that's gonna be it. I'm gonna be making videos on weekends only, maybe one, maybe two, depending how much free time I have. Also because I know a lot of people say, a lot of YouTubers say it, and I kinda didn't believe it, and many of you won't believe it, I'm sure, but this is a really demanding job, and I'm only doing that, like these small videos, and no editing. So imagine guys like PewDiePie, guys like MatPat, guys like anyone who has to do an even bigger effort to like edit videos and do sort of things like that. Like for example, in Spyro, which did his Spyro acquisition, that was a really nice video, not really creative because of the gym acquisition, but anyways. So about the Switch. Oh boy. So let's start from the beginning. When I first saw this reveal trailer about the Switch, you know, the trailer that was revealed in October, I was really hyped. I just really had to see it because I was like out of my house and I had no Wi-Fi, so when I got to my house, like a thunder, I just went in and watched the whole thing, the video, and watched it over and over and over, and I kept thinking, this is going to be the next big thing, this is going to be the greatest console. And a lot of YouTubers thought that too, and they hyped it up, HFK, Etika, you know, the usuals. But when the presentation came in January, it was like, I mean, don't get me wrong, the presentation was sort of because we had the promise that third-party developers were going to go into the Switch like fast, like there were going to be a ton of third-party games in the first year or so they made us think. But as I watched the presentation, I kept thinking to myself, what happened? What's really going on? Because if you see the launch window for the Switch, there's only like 4 titles that are launching the same day, and in March the next title is going to come out like in April or May, something like it, and the next big because it's not really a new game, the next big Nintendo title to come out is Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which only adds the battle mode. The battle mode that should have been in Mario Kart 8 but was dumped out because they wanted to try something new. Then we have Splatoon 2, which is basically Splatoon but like improved with some upgrades here and there, new maps, new customization. But it's the only game we're going to get like in summer, and I was watching some videos and they were saying that it's supposed to launch in summer, but supposedly it's launching on September, so it's like at the end of summer. Not like Splatoon, which got out like in May, I think. Got out in May, it got the amiibos, it got a really big support, and 2 years from that launch date, it's still a strong game. It's still a strong community of online like multiplayer. It's so chaotic sometimes, it's really great. I've been like in this love-hate relationship, especially with online games, because you know, when you lose, it's because of some dumb stuff or you're blaming it all to your team, like it's usual. But really, it's a great game, and Splatoon 2 looks like a bit more of the same. It looks like it's a DLC sort of to Splatoon, because I don't really see a big improvement. They haven't even shown a ton of the modes that Splatoon 2 is going to have. The only modes that we've seen is the classic one, what's it called? The classic one where you have to paint all the floor and everything around you so you can navigate through it. And I'm like, that's it for me. Or I was thinking May, but now it's September and that's it for it. Now, you might think, okay, yes, the Switch is not going to have a ton of Nintendo games in its first 6 or 5 months, but it's going to get a lot of indie developers, a lot of, I know, not third party, no, because this is only game like remakes and ports and sort of. I mean, Bethesda only is giving to Switch players Skyrim, which was already ported to the PS4 and Xbox One 3 or 4 months ago, and it wasn't really a great port. There are some reviews out there that even the HD mods are some people have made for the PC game, it's even better, and the mod support for the console versions is really low, so Switch isn't getting anything impressive, anything new. And if you're saying Want to Switch is really the most impressive game because it's like with sports, it's the next with sports, it's celebrating what the Switch is about, it's celebrating all its HD rumble, its features. Yeah, but the Wii Sports disc was included with every console, and Want to Switch is a $60 game. And for some gimmicks. Because, let's face it, motion controls, the IR camera, and the HD rumble are just unnecessary features. They're just unnecessary, come on. Yeah, PlayStation may have, on its DualShock, may have rumble and may have motion censoring, but they don't focus on the controller, they don't focus on that, and they don't make a big thing about rumble because too many players don't even activate rumble. And that's the thing. I mean, on its time, on its period, when the Nintendo 64 made it possible to feel all about that, all the the action that was on screen, I get it. It was really great. It was really cool. Me as a kid playing it was really immersive, and it was so cool to feel the vibrations. But now it's just something that's usual, something that's not really impressive, and not many gamers use it. Heck, not even Breath of the Wild is going to use it. What's the point? It's the only biggest title that the Switch is going to get for the next 6 months. Breath of the Wild. I mean, Splatoon 2, okay, it's going to sell a lot, I know, but not as Breath of the Wild. And let's face it, Breath of the Wild is going to be the system seller, sort of, because it's going to be on the Wii U, and I'm getting it on Switch. Why? Because I'm not going to invest $300, 9,000 pesos or something like that in here. The prices here in Mexico are so crazy, and that's another thing, because it has these stupid gimmicks, it has these stupid things that don't even have to exist in the console, and it's a gaming, and they always emphasize it's a gaming focused console. Gaming's not about gimmicks. Gaming's about the power. Gaming's about the games it has. Gaming's about the fun it has. And this console is just it's like the Wii U. I mean, I'm sorry if you don't think so, but it's like the Wii U. It's exactly the same as the Wii U. Why? Because it's overpriced, it has gimmicks that nobody cares about. Who's gonna care about the IR camera? Talking about third-party developers, who's going to care about that IR camera? Maybe only indie developers are going to care about that camera, and Nintendo itself. Aside from that, no one else is going to use that. It's like with the Assassin's Creed ports on the Wii U, Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag and Assassin's Creed 3. They never used the motion censoring that the Wii U gamepad had. The only thing that the down screen was used for is to play off TV and to see the map, and maybe to make the map bigger or tinier, like in that Breath of the Wild sort of video teaser we got from the Game Awards. But really, it's just things that the Switch didn't need. I mean, they're making it like a Wii 3.0, because the Wii was supposed to be the Wii 2.0. And it's sad to see a company like Nintendo just repeating again and again the same mistakes, just making everything worse for them. Because as compared to PS4 and as compared to Xbox One, and yeah, I know the Switch is just launching, and when PS4 and Xbox One were launching, they didn't have a lot of games, and they've gone through some upgrades like the PS4 Slim, the Xbox One S, and PS4 Pro is just here. Xbox One Scorpio is going to launch in like 1 year or so. The thing is, the Switch is launching right now. We're not in 2013, we're not in 2012, we're not in 2011, we're in 2017. Now, let's look at this. PS4 is at around $300, same for Xbox One. What price does the Switch has? $300, and it's an underpowered console compared to PS4 and Xbox One. Xbox One, I think it's sort of the same level, but not really the same level. Now let's look at the games. There's a ton of games for PS4. Call it indie, call it third party, call it first party, call it a mini game, sort of game, adventure games, shooter games, kid-friendly games. I know there's a ton of games out there for PS4 and Xbox One. What games are we gonna get for Switch at launch? Breath of the Wild, Skylanders Imaginators, a really bad game. Bomberman, and there's another game that we're getting, but I don't recall it. And that's all for March 3rd. That's all. The next month we're getting ports, we're getting new sort of third-party games, but not really that much. We're getting ports, we're getting same things that's happened to the Wii U. Ports everywhere. That's all that I can see. I mean, yes, there's some really good games coming up, but not this year. Maybe next year, or the only biggest game I can think about is Mario Odyssey. And people are saying it already. They're only buying the Switch when Mario Odyssey is coming. So, why did they had to release Mario until the holiday? And I'm thinking about, why is the Switch even launching in March? And let's look at that comparison again. Like the accessories. Accessories are way too overpriced. The Pro controller is $70. Why? Because it has HD Rumble. It has motion controls. DualShock has motion controls. It has Rumble. And it can work as a pointer sort of things, something like that. And it's even cheaper than that. The base, the dock that you put on the Switch, $100 just for a fan that's in there and a connector. I mean, they're going like on Apple sort of overpriced things. Because Apple is always overpricing their products, their accessories, their cables, everything is overpriced. And Nintendo is doing the same thing. Why? Because they think that this thing it was so hyped that it's going to sell like pancakes, and no matter the price, people are going to just go there and buy it. And that's a problem. Because some people are going to do it. I was even thinking of selling my Wii U or my new 3DS XL to pay for this unfinished console, because that's another thing. It's an unfinished console. it doesn't have a lot of features that modern consoles have. The share button is just for screenshots. Oh great, screenshots. Just like my new 3DS has screenshots too. The PS4 share button is to stream, is to take videos, is to take screenshots, and a lot more. Same for Xbox One. The online service. That's another thing that was like, when I saw that the online service was going to be paid for, I was like, that's it. That's the end for me. That's just... And just going through the chart of online things that you have to pay for, it's like, really, Nintendo? Really? That's what you're going to do with your fans? What you're going to do with all the people that believed that you were going to change, you were going to be different? Because the online service, I don't know how much it's going to cost. They're not even revealing that. 2 months away, less than 2 months away from the freaking console's release date. We haven't got anything on how much it's going to cost. We haven't got anything on any other new games, because they just said, oh no, that's all you're going to get for March 3rd. Maybe later we'll reveal something, but we have nothing to comment at this time. Something like that. Let's say, because I saw some videos about Nintendo answering questions, and they basically dodged them. Aside from a really obvious one that was like the internal storage. The internal storage is the same storage as the Wii U Deluxe, 32 gigabytes, and you can't use USBs, you can't use hard drives, you have to use micro SD. And let me tell you something, micro SD are like the highest. They're not really easy to get. I mean, and the storage for micro SDs is really limited at this time, because the biggest micro SD I've seen, and there's only like one in all the world, it's 8 terabyte, but it's like, it's a unique piece at this time, something like that. And I was watching the prices of micro SD and over over 64 gigabytes and up. They're like ridiculous, and the thing is, even if you use a micro SD, the game, like, you know, the 3DS, the cartridge saves the save file, and like extra content and all the stuff goes into the SD, into the internal memory. The 3DS just, you know, sorts that out. If you use a micro SD on the Switch, the save files aren't saved on the micro SD, nor the cartridge. You think the cartridge should save it. The cartridge is just a reading thing. It's like when Xbox One announced that the disc was only like to install, and the games were going to be in the Xbox One. The cartridge is a read-only cartridge. It's not going to be a save. It's not going to save your save files. It's going to go directly into the internal memory. And that's the thing, because if you're thinking about bigger games, okay, Skylanders, I could say that it's like 5 megabytes or 10 megabytes of storage. Bigger games is like Breath of the Wild, Skyrim, even Mario Odyssey. Those sort of save files are going to be huge. And if you have different save files, different profiles, it's going to be just a mess. Now, one of the other problems it has, it's an unfinished console. It has unfinished features, as I have said, and I can take as an example the parental control and the online functionalities you're going to have if you pay for them. Parental control is such a broken thing. I mean, anyone can get the freaking app and just turn on the Switch, and oh yeah, I just have to type this code into my cell phone, and I can limit the time my brother is playing, because we live in the same room, and I can cut his time so he can't really play when I'm watching my show. Whether you have a smaller brother or a bigger brother, or even your parents just blocking your game because they have to. Because let's accept it. when everyone saw that parental like control video, that parental control video, everyone thought about their parents, brothers, uncles, grandparents just taking over their phones, and you can't play. You have to be with the family. You have to be with us. You have to be. You don't have to be playing video games that long. And I mean, I get it. Okay. There's times to play games. I'm not going to play like at 3 a.m. in the morning. I get it, but sometimes there are families that get a little bit ridiculous, and that's going to be a bigger problem. And the only functionalities, you know how it works in PS4 and Xbox One. You can create these groups. You can chat. You can have voice chats, or you can write messages, or you can just simply create a group to just play together. And through the game, you can play. You can use the voice chat in the game. Guess what? Nintendo wants you to download an app so that you can do all these features, because apparently these features aren't in the console. The group making, the chat, everything is not in the console. Heck, I haven't even seen a headset thing for the Switch. I've only seen in Amazon's and these things like earphones. Earphones. Only earphones. Headphones, sorry. Headphones, earphones, whatever you call it. The thing is, they're not going to have voice chat. They included motion controllers, they include an infrared camera, but they forgot to include voice chat online, groups, matchmaking. Really? And I was going to get the Switch. I didn't even receive any Christmas presents, and my birthday is in February, so I was like, I'm not going to get any of that, and I only wanted to Switch. And my parents were like, okay, we can do that, yeah, why not? I was even going to help them with some of the money, obviously, but thinking about it more and more, watching videos, getting informed about what the console really is, it's not worth it. I mean, Nintendo 3DS is still going to get games. Breath of the Wild is still coming to the Wii U, so, I mean, if you have anything else to comment about it, I respect your opinion, I really respect it, but from where I'm standing, it looks like Nintendo is just losing it. I mean, I get it, they want to innovate, they've always innovated, it's their thing, but it's just, they're putting away things that are so basic, things that are just required in this time. And if they wanted to win over tablets, over mobile gaming, this is not the way to win. This is just giving them more chances to go up. Why? Because the Switch is an overpriced console. Let's face it, it's an overpriced console. A tablet is even more cheaper than getting a console. And some tablets, while they cost a little bit more, sometimes they get some games that are really impressive, because I've seen some games on mobile devices that are really impressive with graphics that are like the same level as some consoles. And I'm like, why is Nintendo not focusing on the games, not focusing on the community, not focusing on anything else rather than the money and them innovating? Because yes, innovating is a really good thing. I was just watching MatPat's video about Deadlock, him talking with Reggie about if Nintendo should still do consoles or just move on to be a game developer like Sega did. And many of the points he said, I mean, obviously it was all scripted. Reggie knew about it. It was like not intended to throw that like Hearthstone, and they didn't even talk about the Switch features, not all of them, like the online paid saver service and the disadvantages of getting a console such as the Switch. And it's just like, it's not worth it. The Switch is not worth it. It's not worth it at all. At this time, this moment, I'd rather buy a PS4 or an Xbox One, because PS4 or Xbox One are cheaper in the United States, in Mexico, because here in Mexico we have overpriced consoles and everything is overpriced. And here in Mexico, the Switch retail price apparently is going to be 9,000 pesos, whereas the PS4 you can get like at 7,000 pesos, and the Xbox One you can get at 5,000 pesos. It's like you can get an Xbox One for $250 here. You can get an Xbox One for, I mean, a PS4 for around $300, $350, something like that. And you get a Switch for $450. It's too overpriced. I mean, Nintendo they just need to set things right. I mean, and it's not looking like they're going to be doing it, at least for this year. They're going to just let this year skip away and see how things are going. And I really hope that Switch just goes down, because it's not worth it. I just hope this all ends well, because if not, Nintendo's going to be like Sega. They're just going to go down. They're just going to fall into an endless pit where either they become a game developer or they just die. I'm sorry, but that's it. They made a bet with Switch, and it's not looking like they're going to win. So that has been all. If you got anything to say, you can leave a comment down there. You can leave a like if you like this sort of rant update about the channel. You can leave a dislike if you want. I mean, I'm open to all critics. And I'll see you guys later.